Hey folks, Darren here, and welcome back to Mr. Sandsman. Something new that I want to try, something called 10-minute tiers, whereas I'll do a ranking of a franchise in 10 minutes based on the tier system that I've created. So let's quickly switch over to that tier system. Here we are with it, and the first, or I'll start at the bottom actually, the bottom category there is Get Out Now. This is for the movies that I think are the worst in the franchise. The ones that are slightly better, I have You Have the Wrong Feeling. Above that, You Fooled Them, haven't you, Michael? But not me. And then second from the top is Hell Would Not Have Him. And at the very top, we have Death Has Come to Your Little Town, Sheriff. That's for the ones that I deem to be the best in the franchise. So let's start. Let's start with this one at the bottom here. These aren't in order. These are all kind of shuffled up. And I have Halloween 2018, which I actually quite liked when it came out. I was a fan of it. I mean, it has its problems, namely the Sartain sequence, which kind of collapses the movie about 2/3 of the way through, but everything sort of gets back on track. So I can slightly forgive it for that. It was also really cool to see Jamie Lee Curtis back after so long. 20 years? Around about 20 years, or maybe just less with Halloween Resurrection, but I don't really count that. So yeah, I also Michael as well. I shouldn't forget Michael. James Jude Courtney's performance as Michael, which was absolutely terrific, and a real kind of tribute to Nick Castle's work in 1978, as well as Chris Nelson's masks in this film, which were also on point as well. So I'm going to put Halloween 2018 in Hell Would Not Have Him. I think it would have been an excellent movie had it not been for the whole Sartain arc. I did like the character Sartain, but what happened 2/3 of the way through really took me out of the movie. And so I think had that not have happened, we could have quite happily seen him go on throughout the three movies, but it was a mess at that point. So Hell Would Not Have Him is where this movie's going to sit. Probably quite high for a lot of you, but I'm happy with it being there. Next is Halloween Ends. I don't hate Halloween Ends. I'm going to put it here with You Fooled Them, haven't you, Michael? But not me. I'm a fan of Halloween Ends. I'm kind of on the fence with it. I don't hate it and I don't love it, but I'm more leaning towards being a fan of it. Simply because of, well, James Jude Courtney's performance in there as well. And also Rohan Campbell, who I think is excellent in this film. I don't blame him for the way this movie turned out. He's one of the best things in it. But the script wasn't great, and so the movie is kind of let down by that. If Rohan Campbell had been in the series from Halloween 2018 onwards, then we could have had a really good movie here. But as it is, it's middling. Like I say, I'm on the fence with it, leaning towards being a fan. And I do enjoy that last-minute showdown in the kitchen. So, third and middle tier for this particular movie. Next is Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. I'm going to put this down here. Not really a fan of this film. Wasn't a fan of the whole Thorn trilogy. I found the look of Michael not very palatable. George P. Wilbur, bless him, was quite a size at this point, lumbering around chest forward in his grey coveralls. It didn't really work for me, and the mask seems to be huge on him. And also the two cuts of the movie, I couldn't tell you which one is better, to be honest. I've seen them both lots of times, but the producer's cut, the theatrical cut, I don't know. I like elements of both of them. I like the score in both of them. It doesn't make much difference to me which one I watch. So, yeah, second from bottom for this one for me. You Have the Wrong Feeling. Next up is H2O. Halloween H2O was a movie I was really excited about when I first heard about it. It was in the early days of the internet. I remember sitting at home on my dial-up modem, waiting for updates, refreshing pages every day. And then when we found out Jamie Lee Curtis was coming back, it was just like, this is fantastic. I saw it in the cinema quite a number of times, 3, maybe 4 times, something like that. But then over the years, it's almost like it's dated for me, and I've kind of fallen out of love with it. There are some great moments. There really are some great moments. I think the showdown at the end is good. And, you know, there are parts of Jamie Lee Curtis's performance that I really enjoy. So I'm going to put it... I'm toying with the idea of putting it in the middle here, or second from bottom. But I think I'm going to put it in the middle. The reason being was that it was such a big deal when it came out, and it gave me a lot of excitement as a Halloween fan at the time. So yeah, it's going in the section, you fooled them, haven't you, Michael? But not me. Next up, Halloween 2. Halloween 2 I'm a huge fan of. I just love the pairing of the original Halloween and Halloween 2. The continuity for me is kind of seamless, and it really does feel like you're in the world that John Carpenter created in the original movie. So I'm really tempted to put it at the top here, but it doesn't give me much scope for anything else. So I am going to drop it down to Hell Would Not Have Him. Halloween 2. Yeah, if you haven't seen my Dick Warlock interview, folks, check it out. It's right up there. There's a link just above there. Check out the Dick Warlock interview. He was an absolute gentleman, and it was a treat to have him on the show. The original Halloween, only one place for it for me. One of the first movies, or first horror movies that I ever saw, way back in the kind of 1981, 82 or something like that. My parents treated me to see this film. We had a VHS recorder. They got the VHS. They watched it themselves first. They then allowed me to watch it afterwards, and it was a fantastic moment in my life. I've done a video about that as well, which you can check out above somewhere up there. But yeah, the original Halloween is my favorite movie of all time. Not just my favorite horror film, but my favorite movie of all time. Halloween Kills. Halloween Kills kind of grown on me over time. I would have had it quite low in this ranking, but I'm going to put it in the same area as Halloween Ends. It again, like Halloween, it does have its issues in terms of there's a moment in the middle that kind of almost sinks the movie, that almost derails it completely, and that would be the Mr. Tivoli moment. But if you can kind of overlook that, like you can overlook the Sartain scene in Halloween 2018, then it's not too bad. It has some great Michael moments. Okay, they go a bit over the top as the movie progresses, but the fireman scene at the start is terrific, and I actually don't mind the sequences at the end with the showdown in the street with the gang. So I'm going to put it in the middle. You've fooled them, haven't you, Michael? But not me. Next up, Halloween Resurrection, an absolute pile of shit for me. It really, really doesn't work. And it's painful to watch Jamie Lee Curtis in this film. I'm going to put it straight into Get Out Now, because I really don't enjoy this movie one bit. Next, Halloween 4. Halloween 4 for sure is one of the strongest sequels in the franchise. Frank and I have covered it quite a lot on the TSL Movie Podcast channel, and I aim to do some stuff with Halloween 4 on the Mr. Sandsman channel as well. So Halloween 4 was the first Halloween movie that I saw in the cinemas back in the late 80s, early 90s, whenever it came out in the UK. I seem to think it came out in around about 1990 in the UK, in the cinema, a couple of years after the US. But I kind of loved it ever since I saw it. I really do think it's a strong sequel, despite what you might say about The Mask. And it would have been nice if they'd have maybe left the bandages on him for the duration of the film. But we didn't get that. We didn't get the OG Mask, but we did get a really strong sequel. So that's going to go in Hell Would Not Have Him up there next to Halloween 2018 and Halloween 2. Next up is Halloween 5. Now, for all its faults, it was around when I was in my late teens, and I did enjoy watching it. It is awful. It is poorly made. Michael's not the best in this film. However, every time I watch it, I can have fun with it. And that's mainly down to Donald Pleasence's work. So I'm going to put this in You Have the Wrong Feeling. Not the worst in the franchise, but by no means the best either. Halloween 3. I'm a big fan of Halloween 3. Always have been. Tom Atkins I love in this film. Stacey Nelkin, Dan O'Hurley, and even Dick Warlock as well, who shows up a few times. Was totally confused by it when it first came out. Just didn't get it whatsoever. I was, as a kid, I was like, where's Michael? This isn't right. What's going on? But over the years, I've come to appreciate it, as a lot of Halloween fans have. And so I'm going to stick it here in the middle. It kind of skips between second and third place for me. But the way I'm feeling at the moment, it's in the middle. For a lot of people, it would be at the very bottom. I know that, but I like the music. I think the score's excellent, and Tommy Lee Wallace did a really solid job. Okay, final two, the Rob Zombie movies. Halloween 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is going in the bottom here. Get Out Now. I cannot do with this movie whatsoever. So I was so disappointed. I was confused as to why he was coming back to direct this. And the movie is always a bit of a head fuck for me. There's a nastiness about it which isn't really inherent in the Halloween franchise. I could kind of stomach it with the Rob Zombie Halloween movie, but with this one, Halloween 2, I think it's got a horrible edge to it, a really horrible edge, and it just puts me off. And it's not an iteration of Halloween that I appreciate. So it's going in the bottom here. And then finally, Rob Zombie's Halloween from 2007. Total excitement for me when this first was announced. I followed it every week on the HalloweenMovies.com website. When it came out, I was disappointed. As I said with Halloween 2, there's a nastiness about it that I didn't really appreciate. The level of profanity that's in this film wasn't conducive to the Halloween franchise. And I'm not a prude or anything like that. It's just, for me, it just doesn't sit right. So it's better than Halloween 2, but I am going to put it in You Have the Wrong Feeling. The Halloween movies that Rob Zombie did are not ones that I gravitate towards whatsoever. But I do appreciate that they are part of the franchise, and I do own them. So that's it. So that is my tier list ranking for the Halloween franchise. The only one that I'm agonizing here. I might make a last minute adjustment. What I want to do is I want to move Halloween 3 up one, and I want to pull Halloween 2018 down to the middle. There we go. That's the thing that I wanted to change at the last minute there, because I realized that I do like Halloween 3 more than I like Halloween 2018. I don't know if you're allowed to do that with these tier rankings, but who cares? That's it. That's the final layout. Thanks very much, folks. I'll be back very soon with another 10-minute ranking. See you soon. Bye-bye.